Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to review this beautiful Sergio Vallín signature Gibson custom shop. So let's do it right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. So if you have not seen the unboxing video of this guitar, you can actually see it right here in this link. So I had this guitar for about 2 weeks, and we're going to do a full review today and also check some sound demos so we can see how it sounds. First of all, let's state what is the full name of this guitar, which is very long. So this is Gibson Custom Shop 1955 Goldtop Sergio Vallín signature. It's a quite long name for a guitar. Let me tell you about this guitar and what it represents for me. This is only limited to 100 units. This is the very first Latin artist to be, given that privilege of having a custom shop guitar. So Sergio Vallín, if you don't know, is the lead guitarist of Maná, which is a Mexican rock pop band, and is the largest and most popular Latin Spanish-speaking band. When I tell you this, is about popularity in terms of revenue from records and stadiums and huge arenas where they play. So it's a huge band, and they have toured all over the world. So Sergio Vallín, I relate to him a lot because he started playing classical guitar when he was a kid, which is the same background I have. I started classical. I wanted to play electric guitar right off the bat, but my mom didn't want to do that. She wanted me to get into classical, which I really appreciate now because it's a great foundation. So Sergio started with classical, and the thing is that he transitioned into electric guitar. So he basically blends the two styles in his playing. So he's a very complete player. He just can do finger picking, all styles you want, even flamenco, and then can write crazy rock solos. So he's a very complete artist. So he previously had a Fender signature guitar, a Stratocaster made in Mexico, which was as you can imagine, is the cheaper side of things. It was about $800 when it was first released in 2016. Later, we're going to see, when we start finding out clues about Sergio getting a deal with Gibson and getting this release. But for now, just know that Sergio is one of the most accomplished guitarists in Latin America, and this is a very exciting moment because I grew up listening to Maná. I got inspired to play guitar watching Sergio play. So yeah, it's quite an amazing thing for the Spanish-speaking community. And we're going to just review this guitar and figure out all the different details about it and how this became a reality. So first of all, let's find out how this guitar came to be. So about 4 years ago, Sergio bought a 1955 Gibson Les Paul Goldtop in normal rare guitars. This guitar I have in my hands is based on that 55 Sergio bought. So you can imagine that once the custom shop has a base model where they want to base a reissue, that they basically try to get it as identical as possible to the original. So that's what they did with this guitar. This is also a Morphy Lab aged guitar, so it's not only like a reissue. It also went through the aging process in the laboratory, where you can see all the different imperfections, all the aging and scratches that the original guitar has. So just keep that in mind. Depending on the aging, the prices will vary. So the most expensive custom shop that goes through the Morphy Lab is the heavy relic one. So I have been trying to determine if this is a heavy relic or not. It's funny that the most injured guitar you buy from Gibson is the most expensive one. So this one has a lot of injuries. I don't know if it's really heavy relic. When I compare this guitar to heavy relics, what I found is that they are very similar in terms of all the scratches that you will see on the sides. And I will show you, I'll give you a close-up later. So in that sense, it looks pretty close to a heavy relic. However, the main difference I see is that on the back, the other guitars, the ones that are labeled as heavy relic, they have all this buckle brush. Basically, a huge amount of the lacquer is gone. In this one, you don't see that. So it has some scratches. It has some scratches on the sides as well, but it's nothing like what you will see in a heavy relic. So I'm thinking that this guitar might be a level before heavy relic. So this is retails about almost $8,000 US dollars. A heavy relic guitar is quite pricey. They go from $10,000 to $15,000. So everything is perspective, right? This guitar looks like super expensive, but at the same time, I think with the appointments that came from the Murphy Lab, it's actually pretty decent compared to those super expensive heavy relic ones. It looks like a heavy relic except for that part I just told you about the back. So yeah, so we got that out of the way. Typical Les Paul is a maple top. It's a two-piece maple top. You obviously can't really see the separation between the two pieces due to the finish. Finishing Goldtop. We have the golden knobs, the speed dial style, and they also come with the thumb bleeders. You can see here that they will tell you where you are. What else? We have a Bixby. This is a B7 Bixby, which is quite unusual on a Les Paul. We have an ABR1 bridge. So this is a real ABR1 that is screwed on the wood on the top of the guitar, as opposed to those metal pieces that come in the standard Les Pauls you can buy from a production USA Gibson. So this guitar originally, these Goldtops used to come with two P90s. You only have one P90 on the neck. Sergio Vallín replaced the P90 on the bridge with a custom bucker. So this is a custom bucker that was wired on the PAF style. This is one of the different customizations that Sergio Vallín did to the guitar, and as well as the Bixby. So you can see this is a very unique instrument in that aspect that you get the different sounds and colors from a P90 and the custom bucker, and then you have this great option with the B7 Bixby. So this is something that I can see many people loving about this guitar. So moving on, we have the typical three-way switch for the pickups, neck, bridge, and middle. We have what it looks like an aged cream color pickup guard, and then you can see that, I don't know if you can see in the video right now, but you can see all the finish checking. There's tons of finish checking all over the guitar. Close up here. You can see all basically the finish is completely gone and on that edge of the guitar. In terms of the headstock, what we have here is a set of tulip Gibson vintage style one ring tuning machines. So the neck of this guitar is mahogany, as well as the body of the guitar. Keep in mind that Custom Shop and Sergio, they picked wood that was very light, so this is what they call light mahogany. Given that the guitar has a Bixby, they wanted to make sure that they could decrease the weight a little bit with the mahogany. And we are going to actually weigh the guitar later on so you can see how light or heavy it is. The fretboard is rosewood, nothing fancy there, just your typical rosewood. And this one I really love because it has a pretty nice red pigmentation. It's very comfortable, and this is something that really impressed me with this guitar. It's just, you know, it really feels like a very old guitar. You play it and you're like, it's super smooth going through the neck and the fingerboard. It's, the edges are very smooth. And keep in mind that the guitar, just like the original, has all this lacquer completely gone. You can see that basically in the middle of the guitar, the lacquer is no longer there. It's basically wood. This is, well, if you can see here where my thumb is, this is the mahogany. So that makes it very smooth. It's like satin, you know, kind of feeling to it. So yeah, so that's something that definitely is a big plus in terms of playability of the guitar. In terms of inlays, we have your typical acrylic trapezoids. What else is important about this guitar? What else? Yeah, you have your typical medallion, switch plate, Gibson custom shop there. It has quite a large scratch there, pretty deep. Scale length of this guitar is 24 3/4. The neck of this guitar is a 59 round C, so it is not as thick as a 58, but you know, it's not a thin. I don't think it's a thin neck by any means. So it's kind of like in between. It's definitely kind of 59. You know, keep in mind that depends on, from guitar to guitar, it could be different, but this one feels like right there between 58 and 59. I like chunky necks, so you know, it's not, I would like it a little bit, you know, thicker, but this is pretty good compared to other necks out there. In terms of the nut, this nut is nylon nut, which is the material they use in reissues nowadays. The neck has binding all over. Keep in mind the binding, the original color seems to be cream. So you can see here, if you can see where I'm pointing at, you can actually see this kind of yellowish lacquer on top of the binding, and then you can see how it disappears in the area where it's worn off. So yeah, you get the binding all over the body, just like a typical Goldtop. The body has the lacquer in place. There's some areas where the lacquer is gone, so it definitely looks legit. Looks like, you know, it's kind of like random thing. You know, it's like the Murphy Lab. They really work very hard to make these instruments look like vintage. So the big question now is, how good is the finish of this guitar? I have a love and hate relationship with Gibson because I find that their quality control is all over the place. I have played Gibsons that they have issues with the finish, they have issues with the paint, they come with scratches, and then you just pick up an Epiphone and the Epiphone is flawless, so I don't really know what's going on. There's a bunch of YouTubers out there that have similar experiences. So when you get a good Gibson, it's a keeper, just keep it, because you'll never know what you're gonna get. So for this guitar, it's a little tricky because it is an aged guitar. It's a guitar with a bunch of wounds, a bunch of scratches. How do you know what is a defect that is supposed to be there because Murphy Lab put it there, as opposed to a defect that is an imperfection on the manufacturing process? So I'm telling you, I spent a lot of hours checking this guitar inch by inch, and You will definitely know sometimes if a defect is a factory defect as opposed to a Murphy Lab agent item. So as far as I can tell, this guitar is flawless. I have not been able to find any of those defects. I compared with a custom shop that has some factory defects, and I kind of know what I'm trying to look for. So comparing that guitar with this one, I haven't found any of those. Keep in mind, this is based solely on my observations, spending a lot of time with the instrument, looking at with several light sources, natural light, artificial light, and I think it's just great. And this is something that you want from an instrument that is so pricey. So good job, Gibson. You know, I'm not gonna give you a hard time. I think this is a excellent instrument. Last but not least, the custom bucker is unpotted. The fingerboard went through a PLEC Pro process, computer-based PLEC process in Gibson, so that also explains why it's so flawless. And the potentiometers are 500K. So yeah, nothing fancy in terms of Les Paul custom shop is what you will expect from custom shop. Sorry to interrupt the show, but I forgot a couple of things about the guitar. The number one is the setup. This guitar was not set up by me, or I didn't take it to a shop to set up. I usually set up my guitars myself, but this one came in a perfect state for my playing. So it's the factory setup from Gibson. It's a typical Les Paul setup. The string height is your default for Gibson is about I think for the 12th fret for the low E is 5/64 unfretted and 4/64 for the high E, and then the pickups are set up. The height is just the default height, so works perfect for me. It's not too high, not too low. And the second thing is that the strings are the regular 1046 that you will get with any Epiphone or Gibson Les Paul. So that's it. Let's continue with the show. So we have 9 pounds and 4.7 ounces. So it's a heavy guitar, I'm not gonna lie to you. But for a Les Paul, it's not too bad. I have Les Pauls that are more than 10 pounds, so given that it has a Bixby, it's not too bad. It could be worse for sure. So remember, this is a light mahogany according to Gibson. Let's check the width of the nut. We have 1.6805. Let's check out the 12. The width is 2.0375. Let's check the thickness of the neck on the 12. We have 0.9630. And the thickness on the first fret is 0.9055. Alright, let's measure the output of the pickups. We have the volumes and tones to the maximum. This is the neck first. And we have about 8.43. Let's go to the bridge. We have about 8.06. So before we connect this guitar and check some of the sounds it can produce, let me just like acoustically play it so you can see how resonant it is. Alright, so now let's get some electric sounds out of this guitar. So now that we know everything about this guitar in terms of specs, let's find out more about how it looks. So I'm going to give you a showcase in natural light. Right now the guitar is subject to artificial lighting, white lights. So I want to give you a close-up with natural light so you can see those tiny details.
Te cortó las alas, mi ángel. ¿Quién te arrancó los sueños hoy? ¿Quién te arrodilló para humillarte? ¿Y quién enjauló tu alma, amor? Déjame curarte, vida, déjame darte todo mi amor. Ángel, ángel, ángel de amor. No te abandones, no te derrumbes, amor. ¿Quién ató tus manos, ató el deseo? ¿Quién mató tu risa, mató tu Dios? ¿Quién sangró tus labios y tu credo? ¿Por qué lo permitiste, ángel de amor? Déjame curarte, vida, déjame darte todo mi amor. Ángel, ángel, ángel de amor. No te abandones, no te derrumbes. somos arena y mar. No te abandones, no te derrumbes, amor. Ángel, 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 te doy mi amor. Abre tus alas, deja tus sueños volar. Ángel de amor, pero mi amor ya nunca te derrumbe. Ángel de amor, pero mi amor ya nunca te derrumbe. Ángel de amor, pero mi amor ya nunca te derrumbe. Ángel de amor, pero mi amor ya nunca te derrumbe. Con duda yo pensaba si lo haría, si era de ida y de regreso. El espejo seductor en su reflejo lo tenía que cruzar. Lo toco con la punta de mi miedo que se hunde en el mercurio del cristal. Lo cruzo y lo dejo a mis espaldas, no hay regreso, está fatal. Quedé atrapado en un espejo azul. ¿Qué voy a hacer, Dios mío? Estoy perdiendo la razón. Quedé atrapado, quedé fundido en otro tiempo, en otra dimensión. Voy caminando por el hall de un monasterio medieval. El padre Aurelio me instruyó: bienvenido, pase ya. Todo lo que veas de usted se lo voy a regalar, me dijo el cura sin piedad. Usted pudo llegar hasta aquí y jamás podrá escapar. Por pecar y blasfemar. Con la vida pagará. Quedé atrapado en un espejo azul. ¿Qué voy a hacer, Dios mío? Estoy perdiendo la razón. Quedé atrapado, oh, quedé fundido vino, me brindó un fraile bizantino, y en el río la jauría de los frailes me seguía, me atraparon, me golpearon, de regreso a la abadía.
So let's talk about the case of this guitar. So I have never had a Murphy lap guitar in my hands other than this one. I have seen them in Guitar Center hanging all the way to the top of the wall. Never got one in my hands. I have, you know, played lots of custom shops, but nothing like Murphy lap guitars. So one thing that really got my attention was the case, because the case has been aged as well. The case looks just like a you know, 50s case. It's a Lifton. It's basically a reissue, but it's aged. So let's now look at the differences between a regular Lifton custom shop case and this one. So you'll see the differences, how it is aged, and the differences between you know, the steel that has been aged. It's quite interesting, so check it out. Let's pay attention to the handles, the latches, the hinges, and you can actually see how worn that handle is compared to the regular VOS case. The main latch is obviously oxidated, there's a lot of stain there. Keep in mind that BOS, if you don't know, is a vintage original spec. So that's a guitar that has been, say, you buy a guitar in 1959, you put it under your bed, and then comes 2022, you get out of the bed, and that's what it is. It's just a guitar that has gone through a lot of time, but has not been played. So you can see one defect there. There's a bunch of little defects. So since this case took a beating, it was the guitar that belonged to that case was played a lot, gig a lot. Especially you'll see in the borders, the edges of the case, a lot of wounds and basically worn off abrasions in those parts. You can see the darker areas on the edge. Big defect there. Check out the hinge. This hinge here is quite different from the VOS one. You can see it went through test of time. This one is pretty new compared to the other one. Alright, so let's compare the top of the two cases. The one on the left is the custom shop Murphy Lab Sergio Vallín. The one on the right is the Gibson VOS reissue, and quite a difference. You can see the left one is much darker, and you see those darker areas which or abrasions and scratches. This one is pretty new. It's quite amazing what they can do with even the cases, make them look like a vintage case. You can see it's a case that have gone through a lot of abuse, and it's been gigged a lot, it's been thrown. So now let's just do some investigation work to find out the clues that led us to believe that Sergio was going to release something with Gibson. Because I was quite surprised, to be honest. I had no clue it was gonna be a custom shop Murphy Lab H guitar, when there were some rumors that he was gonna work out something with Gibson. I thought it was gonna be maybe a USA Gibson model, limited edition, something like that, but nothing like a custom shop or a custom shop with this price tag. So that was quite a surprise. So let's just find out, go back in time, see the timeline, how we got to this. Alright guys, just for fun, we're gonna find out everything we can from Sergio Vallin's Instagram in terms of when we saw the first clues about this 55. So I'm just going through the recent history on Instagram, and this is the first clue we have. This post, see, November 2nd, 2021. So this looks like a Goldtop, and it has a Bixby. So yeah, before this there was no information regarding Sergio releasing anything with Gibson or any guitar manufacturer. So yeah, probably he got a prototype guitar way beforehand. So the guitar was released this April 2022, so that's about 5-6 months before the release, so kind of makes sense. So I want to think this is probably the prototype. Another question is that, did he modify his actual original 55 with the Bixby and the humbucker? I haven't found any evidence of him doing that. I have seen many videos on YouTube where he's playing this guitar from Norman Red Guitars, the shop where he bought it from, and it doesn't have the Bixby. It's just the two P90s. So yeah, so that's something that is hard to tell. All right, so this is November, and then let's see what's next. What else we have? Yeah, so this is the one. So this is like a picture a few weeks from the release, about a month before the release, March 17, 2022. And this is the actual shooting of the Gibson promotional video for the guitar. You can see all the lights, and you can actually see the guitar there. And on hindsight, yeah, it looks like a Goldtop, but when it was released, I didn't have a clue about it. You could tell. Yeah, you could say it's a Goldtop, but you could also say it might be a black guitar. I don't know. Maybe my eyes aren't working that great. So yeah. So when this was released, I didn't have a clue what was going to happen. I was impressed because I was like, wait a second. There's Gibson custom. You see this Gibson custom right here in his post. So that's kind of like I'm like, what? They're gonna release a custom shop guitar? So that was a big shock to me. I was like, wow, this is nuts. So yeah, so this is the press event, and they're gonna film what became the promotional video March 17th. After that, we have another picture, March 21st, 2022. So about 4 days after the last picture, and this you can clearly see is a Goldtop with a Bixby. But I do not know, back then I didn't know for sure. I was like, can this be the guitar he's gonna release? So I wasn't that sure. But yeah, that's definitely a huge clue there. And then, what is this? Yeah, so this is basically the release video. So that was April 12th. That's when it hit the social medias. It hit the all internet went crazy about it, and so that's when we knew for sure what it was.
A casa de un vecino, me acuerdo, tenía yo como 7 años y escuché el Abbey Road de los Beatles.
And then that's about it. Nothing else. This is a recent picture from 2 days ago. That's where they're playing at the Forum in Los Angeles. They have a residency right now, so he's definitely using his. I am pretty sure this is number one serial number one of the custom shop. I don't think he will use his 55 right there in the concert. But how can you tell? So now that we're here, let's check on Reverb just for fun. How many of these guitars are left? And let's just do some filtering. Gibson, Continental USA. Now let's just have it the default. Okay, so we have 5 guitars. This is House of Guitars in New York, Rochester, New York. This is number 62. And we have LUFS guitars. This one is ridiculous, like 9,900. I don't get why it's so expensive. I mean, it's supposed to be a retail price of $7,999, but not sure why this price. I don't know. It's not. They don't say it's signed. Like what extras you get. Trying to see if there's a serial number. So this is 86, and then we have Rainbow Guitars. This is a great shop from Arizona. I had bought some guitars from them. This is a 74. And then we have Fuller's Guitars in Texas, and this is number 61. And then we have Tone Shop Guitars in Texas as well. I cannot see the serial here, it's too small. Let's see, it doesn't say. Alright, so not too many of these guitars available. I wonder if they're going to release more. These are all the ones, all the 100s are out there in a while. Yeah. So now let's take a look at the videos that we have available before this whole Gibson release thing. This is from 2017 from Normansbury Guitars, and this is where we think that this might be the one, the 1955 he bought from Norman. You can see it has the same scars, it has the same level of damage has the custom shop. Look at the finger playing, pretty amazing.
Hey everybody, in case you don't know, this is one of my favorite guitar players in the entire world, and I've heard just about everybody. Yes. And this guy, that's Sergio Vallín from the band Maná. They're the biggest band in Latin America, the Beatles, the Stones of Latin America. I went to see them live. They were great. And one of the reasons they're great is because of this young man over here. So he's playing a 1955 Les Paul Goldtop. And how long was your tour that you just came off of?
All right, so that guitar he eventually bought it from Norman. I don't know if he bought it. He probably bought it from exactly this specific trip to the shop. The other one we have is from 2018. This is from some lyrics songs. I don't know what this channel. But you can tell the same scars. This seems to be, I'm pretty positive it's the same guitar we just saw in the last video. Alright, that's all. I just wanted to show you, so we have a few clues, but I personally don't think he modified that original 55. Folks, we're almost done with this video, so I hope you enjoy it. What can I say? If you want me to give you my recommendation on this guitar, yes, thumbs up if you have the money, and especially if you have some emotional attachment with Sergio Vallín and Maná. Definitely, I think it's a great investment, and these guitars are going to pick up in price for sure in the future. It's only 100 pieces. This guitar is going to hold the value. It's going to be a good investment for you. It feels amazing. It's just, it has this different sounds that you won't get in other guitars with the Bixby and the combination of the humbucker and P90. So definitely, if you can afford it, I think it's going to make you happy. Keep in mind that all of us are different in terms of tone. You know, there's just so many videos about tone and tone woods and whatnot. You get to decide how you like the sound of this guitar based on some of the samples I gave you. For me, it's quite an amazing guitar. For the style of playing I tend to do, this is just quite amazing. And you know, it's just an inspirational guitar in terms of it makes you want to play more. You are going to definitely try to be playing some of those Maná solos for sure in this guitar, and it will just like make you feel good about it, even if you suck and you make mistakes. So in terms of what is coming next from Sergio and Gibson, there's some talk and speculation that they will release a production Gibson USA variant of this guitar. The other one is that they might release cheap Epiphone versions of this guitar. And he even mentioned, Sergio mentioned in one interview that he's thinking about Kramer guitars. You know, Kramer, the typical 80s shredding guitars. So those are owned by Gibson. Gibson bought Kramer. So he said that one of his first guitars was a Kramer, so he's thinking about playing with that idea with Gibson in terms of releasing some Kramer. So I don't know, it's just too much stuff going on. Is it going to be Gibson USA? Is it going to be Kramer? Is it going to be Epiphone? Are we going to see the exact model I have in my hands? Is it going to be a different type of guitar? We will see. So for now, these guitars are selling quite quickly. I checked today, there's only 6 left. And I'm talking about, you know, going through the internet and finding dealers that have this guitar. There's only 6 available in the world. I do not know if Gibson is still, if they release all of them already, meaning that the rest of them have been sold, or they are just basically releasing them in batches. I do not know for sure. This is 66, I have seen 86, I have seen 74. I have seen number 1, which is the one Sergio has. So yeah, but if you want this guitar, make sure that you get to it quickly, because they are gonna go soon. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.